Hello everybody, and welcome back to Chambly Services, CSI Rockdale. We're out here today out in the driveway. We thought we would share with you today a story on our Ford Ranger. This Ford Ranger was acquired in 1998. It is a 1997 model. We purchased it in 98. Off the lot. It had a little over 30,000 miles on it when we acquired it. It was a municipal truck. It was used primarily by the water department head as he traveled around and checked on his employees. It was used for about a month and a half and then traded in on a much larger truck after that supervisor retired, and I acquired it. So very well maintained truck, lightly used, and I've owned it ever since. This vehicle has been a very trustworthy truck, and we have put many miles on it. I think the clicker is somewhere about 120,000. This truck was used a lot in many of my endeavors over the last decade or two, or now maybe three. Working on 3. And we found about a year ago that the truck had some brake line issues that had rusted away right at the rear master brake cylinder and at both tires, the cylinders at both tires. So we got a master cylinder issue and we have a rear tire cylinder issue, as well as some drum issues in the back as well. The front brakes I have replaced myself because they're disc brakes, as you can clearly see here in this video. And these brakes were changed quite often because the truck is heavier in the front than it is in the back. And then those were something I felt comfortable in changing. But when it came to the back, servicing the back brakes, I always sent that out to a local auto repair shop. So now that the back brakes are gone, and that's outside of my talent range, as well as some brake line issues, particularly the one that goes up and around the gas tank, the fuel tank, requiring the fuel tank to be dropped and lowered so those fuel lines or brake lines can be replaced. Again, now we're in an area that's outside of my talent level. So in the last year that it has sat, after finding that news, I pulled it out of the grassy knoll area that it was sitting in and returned it here to my home, and had to have it towed in. Obviously there's no brakes, right? There's zero brake pedal on this truck right now. So after having it towed in here, I noticed that one of the tires kept losing air, and upon further examination of that tire, it was determined that that tire was dry rotted. So we went to the boneyard, we picked up another tire. It's the tire that you see sitting here leaning against the truck now. And after that tire sat here on the truck not going anywhere for about a week and a half, we noticed it went flat a few times. And just a user tip here, any rims that are kind of older than 5 years old, especially those aluminum rims, they start to build up a little bit of rust, and it's hard to get a good seal on them. So you need to take them in and have somebody with a grinder or a little wheel brush kind of knock down that rust on the inside of the rim so that you can get a better seal. So that's what we got accomplished yesterday, and we're going to put this tire back on. So we got 4 inflated tires for easier rolling. And then we're going to move forward with having one of the neighbors take apart the rear braking system, totally redo it, as well as the front. So we will be recording that. We will be following along with him. He's already agreed to let us videotape him as he does all of this work, probably be on a time lapse. So this is video one, kind of like an introduction to 97 Ford Ranger and its issues and the repairs needed. So follow us along as we bring this guy out of the grassy knoll for the last year that it's been stored in, bring her back to life, put her back in service, as she's got tons of life left. So for right now, I'm going to jump in there. We're going to get this tire changed out, or put back on, I should say. Lower that jack, get that jack out of the way, and move forward with the neighbor when he's ready. So let's get our hands dirty. Let's get this tire back on. And hopefully you'll be able to pick me up from the microphone. Again, for those of you who follow us here on CSI Rockdale, we're kind of newbies at this YouTube channel. With our store still being closed due to the coronavirus, we're not putting out a whole lot of shop YouTube videos at this point. We are kind of filling in content with what it is we do with our daily lives. And this is what we have going on to occupy us while we wait for our non-essential store to be reopened. So thank you, and let's get started here. And if you like the content that you're seeing here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down there. And if you got any comments or anything you'd like to suggest, we always entertain great comments, or any comments for that matter at all, because we know that whatever you give us or have us do is going to make us a much better channel for you. So all comments welcome. Now let's get to putting this tire on. First of all, you definitely want to make sure that the jack is still under there properly and the jack stand is set up right, and that no one has moved that since you've taken your eyes off of it last, because last thing you want to do is have a car fall on you. So we have to line up our holes with our lug nuts. Looks like our jack has gone down just a little, so we will jack the jack up a couple of pumps so that we can easily get our tires on it. Not a whole lot of room under here for this jack handle to pump up or lift up the tire with. Very little room. Alright, it looks like we get our tire on. We'll just kind of hand tighten these lug nuts. Then we'll snug those down with the 4-way here, just to kind of tighten them up. And for those of you who've never changed the tire out, you always want to go across. You never want to do them around. You want to kind of flip back and forth between the 2 or the 5 or the 7. And again, at this point, all you're doing is you're just snugging them up, right? And then once you lower the jack, the tire will be on the ground, and the weight of the truck pushing the tire down will keep it from spinning like you see it spinning now. Well, when it's spinning now, you're not tightening up the lug nuts, you're just spinning the tire. So that's why you only want to tighten them up, hand tight, or as far as you can. Let the jack down, let the weight of the car hold it down, and then you can finish tightening it up. So at this point, I'll lower the jack. I'll take the jack stands out, lower the jack, and we'll finish tightening it up. jack out of the way and the jack stand out of the way, we will go ahead and finish tightening these up. At this point, you want them nice and tight. And here's a tip. When you're taking your vehicle in to have a shop change your tires or do a little tire work for you, make sure that you ask them not to over tighten these. Because if you got a young lady in the house, or maybe an older gentleman like me with weakened arm strength, it may be difficult to take them off if they've tightened them too hard. So just a tip there, making sure that you reach out to them, making sure they don't over tighten. And then we're going to simply add our wheel cover back on. And folks, the tire is back on, ready for the neighbor when he's all set to come over, start in the back, rip those back tires off, start with the back brake system, move forward, finish the front ones, and get this truck back in service. All right, I'd like to thank you for watching us. Hopefully you'll follow us along as we get this Ford Ranger up and running again, get a complete brake system on it, and get her back on the road. We thank you for watching CSI Rockdale, and please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.